Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create a Django app. In our previous tutorial, we learned how to set up a new Django project. Now, in case you are new to Django, Django is a Python web framework that is used to create dynamic and robust web applications. It uses the MVT architecture. Let's explore the Django's MVT architecture. It has the model, which defines the database structure and handles data interactions. The view, which is like the logic layer, it processes requests, retrieves data from the model, and sends it to the template. And then we have the template, which is the presentation layer. The template renders the user interface with dynamic HTML content based on the view's context. With that said, let's jump into the code. Start app, then followed by the name of the app. In this case, I'll create an app that is called Home. So you can have a look at it over here on the left hand side of the Visual Studio Code. We have our app called Home. So the first step before you do anything is that you need to register your application inside the settings.py app. So settings most of the settings. Then now we can proceed and explore some of the files inside our application. Then we also have the admin.py. This is where you can register your model so that you can access them in the admin panel. Apps.py, this is the file that is responsible for configuring app level configurations. Then we have models.py. This is where you define all your models. Then tests, of course, is for writing your tests. If you want to automate some tests, you can define them over here. Then we have views. It's used to create some logic which allows you to retrieve data from the database and pass them over to the template. So let's create our first view. I'll call my view homepage view. So I'll be using the function based view. Need to declare it over here. Yeah, we'll just leave this empty for now, then we'll come back and add some. So we'll just leave it empty for now, then we'll come and pass some data into it later on. So let's go back and configure our urls.py. So by default, Django does not create the urls.py file, so which means we need to create it. So let's go to our home application, then say new file, then let's call it urls.py. Now it's time to configure our URLs. Now URLs are just responsible for mapping the views to the project level URL. So in order to work with the URLs, we need to import our view. So from .view views, import our homepage view. You also need to set up the app name. So I'll just call it homepage. Then URL patterns. Then URL patterns. Now this one will leave it empty for now because it's the home page, then followed by the name of the view that we just imported. So it's going to be homepage view. Then the name of that view. This is done. We need to go to the project level URL so that we can project level URL so that we can configure the project level URL to map to the app level URL. So let's go to the project level URL. urls.py. Then just beneath the admin, we need to create another one, that is path, followed by, we'll just leave it blank for now because it's the home page. We want to include home.urls. So we need to go ahead and create a new directory inside our project folder that is called template. This is where all our template files will go, all the HTML files will go. So let's create one over here. then just call it templates. Okay, then inside templates we need to create a new file that is called index.html. remember, inside our views. Okay, so once we have that, we can go ahead and try and spin our server to see how the application behaves. So I'll clear my terminal over here, then I'll run the command python manage.py run server, run server. So this command, it's used to run the server, and of course everything went on good. The server is running at localhost port 1000. So let's open up our browser and check our application 8000. So if you spin that, and we have a working application. So all we need to do is to add some HTML content and pass in some data inside it from our views. So here is our blank HTML file. So let's add some HTML into it. So I'll add some boilerplate over here, then close it off. Hello world. Then I'll also add a paragraph. This is my first Django project. So that works fine. Let's head over to the browser, refresh it, and then we see the sum of the changes. So if you refresh your page, there we go, we have your h1 and the paragraph. So now let's learn how you can pass some data from the views to the template. We say that the template is the presentation layer. So let's try and test it out, how we can pass in some data from the views to our templates. So back to our views.py file is equal to introduction to Django. Then we just need to pass in this title into our context. So that way, then title. Let's pass in the author. Then we're just going to call it Brian for that. So again, let's pass in So let's jump back into our index.html template and add this one. Instead of just manually hard coding the h1 with the hello world, let's render the h1 using the template tags over here. So I'm gonna say title for this case. Then this is the first Django project. Then I'll add another paragraph. Then by. Now instead of manually hard coding it, I'm just going to say by who? By the author. And now let's refresh our page. And now we have introduction to Django. This is my first Django project. So let's have a recap of all that we've talked about today. The first one is understanding Django, what Django is. We've also talked about the Django's model view template architecture. We've explored the project and the app level directories. We've seen how you can map the URLs and also how you can set up your HTML template. So in our next tutorial, I'll be showing you how you can set up your Django models, how to do the migrations, and also configuring the database. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them into the comment section.